What is going on, squad? I wanted to show you guys today what an isometric session looks like in real time. So the reality of it is there's about 8 to 9 exercises on average, and each one is 6 seconds and the rest times are 20 seconds. So if you factor in what I'm doing here, which is setting up the load, because I primarily use load mode, it can get to about maybe 8 or 9 minutes. So I usually start with the Jefferson squat. I like to get my lower body exercises out of the way first, as they tend to be a little bit more metabolically demanding. So once everything is set, I'm blasting through, making sure that my hips are aligned, my chest is as far out as possible. I could have used a little bit more work on that, but still pretty solid. 651. When my lower back wasn't in place, there was pretty much no way I was able to do that exercise. And so what I've learned is to just make sure to keep your hips in alignment. Now, what I've done is strengthen up my glutes significantly this year. And I mean significantly, as I barely had anything there, glutes wise or lower back wise, in addition to the core. And lower back issues are now completely eliminated because I focus on that. As a result, I'm now able to hit my legs with no risk of lower back issues, which is nice. So that allows me to blast into these Jefferson squats, hack squats, and sissy squats at 100%. Speaking of which, let's get into this hack squat. And so I find getting into positions a little tricky on the IsoMax base plate, but once you're there, you're there. And so I tighten up my core here and I just go to town. Usually I'm averaging high 600s to 700s. As you can see there, I just got a 698.8. And so the goal with the hack squat is I'd like to get into the mid 700s. And I've found that the hack squat and the sissy squat are doing the most for my knees. I absolutely love what they're doing, especially the sissy squat that I'm setting up for right now. If I had known the value of the sissy squat in 2020, I 100% would have done that over the Zercher lunge. And I thought that the Zercher lunge was so good, and it did heal my knees in the beginning of this channel's history. It really did. But with how I can only describe this as therapeutic the sissy squat is, I mean, it honestly, it's just in a whole different league. Even though the belt squat is still king in my opinion, I love this exercise. So you're gonna see me set up in a mixed grip. I'm gonna tighten up my core. If the core is not tightened, it's not happening. I just blast through. So you can see me get up on my toes there, which is part of the sissy squat. There's a lot of vibration going on, but I mean, it goes right to 649. It's not bad. Goes right to my knees in a way that's good. I mean, it feels so freaking good, guys. If you've never done the sissy squat on your DIY IsoMax or OG, or ISO chain or IsoMax, I highly recommend giving that a shot. You do have to have your form correct, so it's kind of weird at first because it feels like you're gonna fall forward or backwards. You notice the form there, and I have a video on that you can find right here if you want to know how to do the sissy squat correctly. But it is totally worth it to learn the form. Take the time. It might take a couple minutes, maybe 10 minutes, so that you don't fall forwards. It's kind of a balancing act. It is totally worth it. You will thank me in about 2 weeks, maybe even right after the first sissy squat session if you have trouble with your knees. But then you have to get the lower leg, and this is the calf raise. So I've been working on strap 9 here. Normally I'm on strap 8. 337 is actually a really low for my calves because I'm usually on strap 8 where there's less slack. So when I go into the calf raise, it's balls to the wall. I'm usually averaging about 450, 460 for calf raise, and the same with the shrug because it's also on strap 9. As you can see, I'm about to go into that right now as well. I like to keep the straps in ascending or descending order every time, so the exercises look exactly the same every session. So I usually do the calf raise and then the shrug, or the shrug and the calf raise are interchangeable because they're on the same strap number. So as you can see there was, I pulled a 3 something on the shrug, just because, again, I really wanted to work on that strap number. So So now we're gonna go ahead and transition to, I believe, if I had to guess, it'd be the bicep curl, which would be the next strap up, because that was strap 9 and bicep curl is strap 15 for me. I'm about 5'9", so that works pretty well. Let's see if I'm right. I believe I am. I sure am. Okay, and you can see I'm starting to get a little tired. If you've ever done these types of exercises, it looks like it doesn't really do that much to you, but because we're working at the highest end of the force velocity curve, these are very demanding. You will break a sweat. I'm looking at my hand because some of the black rubber is starting to rub off on it, and I'm getting kind of raw in my hand, which is fine. I really don't mind. So I'm going to tighten up my core here and go into the bicep curl. I really love this exercise. I'm trying to get to 200, around 172. My highest is like 180 something. But I just feel like everything just has to be literally perfect for that to happen. But it is starting to happen more often. So the consistency and the progressive overload is starting to work, which I'm really liking. So now we're going to transition to, I believe, shoulder press, which is for me strap 23 that I'm working on, which is a low position shoulder press. So with the low position shoulder press, we're still going to get a little bit of chest going on, but this is primarily delt work, and I absolutely love how this feels. But you have to have your core tight. So I was thinking about, for this round, getting like mid position shoulder press, because sometimes I'll die out on my Arnold presses, which is interesting. I thought I'd die out on my dumbbell shoulder presses in the weight room, but it's been my Arnold ones. But this is fine. So right here, this is the midpoint for Arnold press anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and blast into this here. I really love how this exercise makes me feel. Sometimes I'll get around 200, but here I'm getting 189. This was last week. As of the day of this recording, I got a 170 something. So that's actually even worse. And something to remind the squad is that not every session is going to be perfect. There are going to be days where you are mentally just ready to go, and it is your worst possible day. Every number that you get is just garbage. And then there's days where it's just like you got like 5 hours of sleep or less, and it's just like, what's the point? All the numbers are going to be terrible, and it's the best freaking day you've ever had. It's just how the game goes. That's why we stay consistent. Now, this tricep extension, I like the tricep extension, but there's something I need to work on. Can you see it? I'm rounding my back a little bit and I'm breaking form. So you might see this high number is 240, but when I went to look into the video after I shot it, I realized what my issue was, and it's probably more around 215 area, as that's what I normally get anyway. So it's tough when you're not recording yourself, because then you can't see your form. So if you're ever wondering what your form looks like, I recommend recording yourself every now and then just to see what it's like. I do this in the weight room as well, just to see what my form is like as I start to get into heavier variations of exercises. It's a really good practice if you don't do that already. So I highly recommend doing that. Now I'm going to put my shirt on here, and the reason why is because when you do the IsoMax chest press, if you have no shirt on and that strap is around your lats, or if you're wearing a tank top and your lats or underarm are exposed and that strap is starting to be a little bit abrasive on your skin, it does hurt. It's like getting a rug burn. And it's something that you really only need to experience once for you to go ahead and put a shirt on for this exercise. So that's why I did it. Even though I am hot, I'm definitely gonna do that because I don't like how that feels. So I'm usually strap 10 for chest press. This is the last exercise here that I do. And I'm averaging around 280 to 290. I've danced into the 300. My highest so far is 307 on this chest press, which I was absolutely excited about. I believe I have a video on that on our YouTube Shorts playlist. So definitely check that out if you have the time. But yeah, this is one of my favorite exercises. I'm so glad that dragon door switch from the chain to the strap, because even though I like the chain, that's what Bruce Lee did. Whatever works is whatever works. So I'm gonna get my hands and shoulder width apart, and as soon as I get everything ready, I'm gonna blast into it. I don't know if anybody else has issues with the chest press strap kind of sliding forward, but I have that when I do it, and I have that when I train my clients, and it's really annoying, but you know, it is what it is. Eventually I'm gonna get this set up. But what I really like about this whole thing is that for how effective this is, it really only takes about 10 minutes. And right now we're about 10 minutes and 45 seconds into the session, and that's with me recording. I really like that, because a lot of people think that this takes so much time, but it really doesn't. And it's the cumulative effects of this type of training that make it so awesome and beneficial. So after everything is set, we're gonna go blast into the shoulder press. I remember I wasn't too happy with this exercise. I think I got like 270 something. I didn't even show it to the camera, but that's okay. Like I said, not everyone is good, not every session is good, but it's all about the 1% increases over time and seeing the graph from a macro perspective, bird's eye view. All right, guys, so if you want to know how to program your isometric exercises, I recommend you check out this video right here.